Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at how Rudeus almost nuked Orsted and how Orsted saved Eris and Rujierd's life. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's start with the topic at hand. After Rudy, in a fit of spontaneous incompetence, and seemingly became unable to follow the simplest instructions like "don't move," or judging by the quite clear body language of Eris and especially Rujierd, the man who had safely escorted the two, and who had managed to effortlessly instill fear in pretty much every opponent they had encountered so far, Rudy decided to talk to Orsted, who otherwise would have just walked past them. Now, to us it was clear why Rujierd and Eris behaved the way that they did, and that Rudy was not cursed to hate and fear Orsted, since his curse affects every single creature in his world, and Rudy was simply immune to it, simply because his soul did not originate from Orsted's own world, but from ours. Nevertheless, a fight ensued between Orsted and the tree, and from our perspective, it was a shock. We neither knew why Orsted claimed that Paul Greyrat should only have two daughters, nor that he had not yet met Rujierd and Eris, nor could anyone have guessed that Orsted, who had actually spoken very reasonably and calmly, would suddenly attack and personally impale Rudy. But from Rudy's perspective, the fight was even worse, seeing how Rujierd was effortlessly knocked out within seconds by Orsted, and then laid lifeless on the ground from Rudy's point of view, and how Eris also stopped moving, meant to him that both were already dead, and he was practically the last man standing, or at least being alive, who could still fight back. That's why Rudy launched a fireball attack on Orsted, and Rudy's fireball was massive, not in size, but in its heat, and in terms of what happened within it. Rudy imagined atoms being split apart through the massive amount of heat and radiation within the fireball spell. That's right, the fireball spell was a nuclear fission explosion that Rudy would hurl at Orsted from close range. Eris and Rujierd were already gone from Rudy's perspective, and Rudy, with his crushed lungs, which he has hastily reinflated to be able to fight a few minutes longer, was already halfway to the grave anyway. So Rudy at least wanted to take out Orsted with him, and therefore he unleashed the fireball nuke, hoping that the ensuing explosion would blow away Orsted and probably part of the mountain as well. Orsted, who seemingly knows more and harbors no hatred for Eris or Rujierd, blocked this attack with his Wormgate and redirected the energy, and thus he saved the lives of Rujierd and Eris, whose life he could have easily snuffed out. And this is what the anime has shown us so far. Now the question arises, what would have happened if Rudy, who was completely in Megumin mode, had succeeded and Orsted had been hit by the explosion? And you can write in the comments what you think would have happened. And now here comes the spoiler warning for the latest story of Mushoku Tensei. So, spoiler warning, Orsted and Rudy will fight again, and Rudy manages to land significantly more hits, and especially in the beginning, several extremely powerful spells, all above the level of the nuclear explosion contained within Rudy's fireball that he had unleashed on Orsted. And he actually had to mobilize quite a bit of mana to protect himself from these attacks. But ultimately, even with the element of surprise on his side, Rudy was unable to finish him, even with the nuke spell hitting, among several other extremely powerful spells. And Orsted, although slightly injured, could still continue fighting. And with that said, now it's your turn. Let me know your thoughts about Rudy's last act of desperation, and of course about the video itself down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to all of my Patreons for supporting this channel. Anyway, have a nice day, over and out.